So, and Bob, looking back to the game on Saturday, I mean, it was a really important goal that we got late on.
It was a good point in the end. I don't think it was probably not the best game to watch for a neutral's point of view, or even for the supporters that made the journey up there. But at this stage of the season, it's about getting the points on the board, and in the end, I suppose a point was probably a decent result in the end for us.
You guys had a tough time up front. Obviously, you had two sort of big, strong defenders up against yourself and Beardy. You're doing something a little bit different to try and get round them, rather than obviously you find well you weren't going to beat them with height.
Yep. I don't think we played the football that we expect for ourselves, and it was a bit frustrating up top for me and Beardy. There wasn't a whole lot of service, but it was just one of the games where it's more of a battle than anything else. There's a lot of balls kind of overhitting behind balls or whatever, stuff like that. But it was a frustrating game, but in the end we've came away with a point and probably deserved the point in the end.
And we noticed on social media, obviously Luca apologising for his mistakes, but as we mentioned in commentary during the game, I mean it's a team effort. I mean every player's going to make a small error at some time.
No, exactly. That's what happens in team games. A few of the boys had a word with him. Obviously, he was a bit down after the game, but it wasn't just look at it. Never really performed. I don't think anybody really did. I think it was more of a grind. And the big man's pulled us out a few holes, so I'm sure he'll be pulling us out in our hole this weekend.
In terms of the surface, I mean, when we were pitch side doing the post-match interviews, it seemed a bit bobbly, not quite as a true surface as you normally get here at the stadium.
Yep, no, it definitely was. It was when I first walked in initially, I thought it looked a cracking surface, and it was good to look at. But kind of in central areas, it was pretty bobbly, and it was kind of hard to get the ball down and play, and especially what was at stake as well. I think the two teams, there was a wee bit of nervousness there for both sides, and maybe that showed in the game, but. It wasn't ideal conditions for getting the ball down and playing in the middle of the park.
And then changes were made at half time. Changes were made in the second half with the gaffer bringing on Nathan Austin and James Craig, and that seemed to sort of change things, change the sort of dynamic of the way we played.
Yep, the game. I think that there was you could see the nerves in the Dundee United side. I don't think they're a team playing with confidence, and I think you started to feel that the last 10 minutes of the game. They started to sit back and they weren't sure whether to keep on attacking or whether to hold their 1-0 lead, and I think they get punished in the end for that. They weren't quite sure how to see the game out, and I think we capitalised on that, but it did take us to the almost 80th minute to hit our stride, which obviously this weekend coming we'll be hoping to do that for kick-off.
I mean, obviously you've mentioned performance. So, I mean, we have seen it in the past. We were not sort of firing on all cylinders from the first minute. I mean, what do you put that down to?
It's a hard one because you prepared the same way you prepared the week before, and it's just one of these things. It's just, I don't know if it was the tension in the game or just the way the game panned out or the pitch. I don't know. It's hard to put it down to one thing, but it's just one of the games, as a player, you just need to try and do what you can and go for the line and get the points.
Although you mentioned it was an important point, I mean, probably a sort of tinge of disappointment, obviously with Scott Shepherd hitting the post in the literally the last kick of the ball.
Yep, no, definitely there was chances there late on for us. I suppose for their point of view, if you balanced it out, they had a few chances in the first half as well. So a point probably in the end was a fair result. But like you said, when you miss a few chances late on like that, it's always there's that wee bit of disappointment there.
And looking ahead to the game against St Mirren, I mean the team who some would say are probably the form side in the division with their managing to rise a league and get points. It's really important that we start things off quickly and sharply. No,
it's going to be a tough game, like you said. They've had a good bit of form at the right stage of the season for themselves, and obviously they're down there scrapping for their lives. And we're obviously at the other end of things, scrapping to secure that second spot. So it's going to be probably another kind of tough battle, and hopefully our quality kind of shines through, and we can get the goals that get us the 3 points.
We sort of got the beginning of the new St Mirren, so to speak. They did their signings when we beat them 2-1 in Paisley. Did you notice a difference from the St Mirren of earlier in the season and the St Mirren of when we last played them?
Probably. I think there was a lot of change in kind of personnel just when we played them the last game. So there was a wee kind of spring in their step almost, and they've signed some decent players. So you know if they could get going, they'll be a handful for teams in this division, and it looks like they've managed to do that. So we know it's going to be a right tough game at the weekend, and we're looking forward to it.
And obviously talking about this weekend itself, yourself, John Baird, Nathan Austin now sort of getting in good form, Lee Miller punching, getting some goals, important goals too. So the competition into the sort of the end of the season is there. So you guys have got to be on the money to make sure you're getting your first team place.
Yep, no, there's a lot of good competition throughout the squad. It's definitely a bigger squad than last year, a better squad. So there's definitely competition all over the park, and it's no different up front. So you're just working hard to try and impress the manager every day in training, and obviously if you're picked on the Saturday, you try to put in as good a performance as you can and make sure you keep the jersey.